Yeah, it felt like a midlife crisis kind of day today for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I didn't feel like I was having a midlife crisis, but I felt like I was living a midlife crisis.
Like this is what a midlife crisis would be if I were having one.
Right. Mm-hmm. Am I having one?
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Invincible podcast, probably the best superhero podcast in the universe. This is a show where friends sit around and talk all things Invincible, a comic book and animated series by Robert Kirkman, Corey Walker, and Ryan Ottley. I am one of your hosts, Ryan, and joining me today is TJ.
Oh, hello. It's TJ.
And Bill.
Hi, everyone.
How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm really excited to talk about this episode.
I can't wait. I feel like it's set up just the end.
I can't.
Yes. Fuck.
This was one of those episodes where I'm like, fuck, I just can't believe we're getting this. I feel like we're getting like nearly a movie every single week worth of stuff. It's just so good. It's so good. We've got a lot to talk about today. We got a few news items, a bunch of listener letters, and then we're going to get into our in-depth recap for episode 6 of Invincible. We can kick it off with some housekeeping. If you guys want to email us, be one of those that write in with your reactions to the latest episode, you can email us at theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all of that. You can find the website, theinvinciblepodcast.com. There are our episode lists there, reading order if you're getting into the series and want to find out what else there is, as well as a way to contact us and everything.
If you are getting into the series, this is like a spoiler cast, if you will.
For the most part, we do want everybody to know that for the most part, this is episode 98. 98. So we've
done some things.
This podcast has always been about the comic book. So a majority of our listeners are readers of the comic, and we want to be a show where we can react to the show, the animated series, as readers of the comic and talk about how it relates to the comic. That being said, we know there are a lot of people jumping onto Invincible and haven't gotten a chance to read all 144 issues yet. So we're not going to blatantly spoil things beyond issue 25-ish or so. We're still going to be, really careful, for the most part.
That being said, we could still spoil things that you don't know that could be happening at the end of the season. So just be aware of that. Like, yeah.
Go check it out. Go read the comic though. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, that we are the Oblivion Song podcast as well. If you're looking for something else to read other than Invincible, check out Oblivion Song, another comic book by Robert Kirkman and Lorenzo De Felici, and catch up on all of the episodes of that show as well. That's a great sci-fi comic that is in the middle of a hiatus right now, but will be coming back for its final 6 issues. Very exciting.
Soon. June. Yeah, soon. Very soon.
Yep. June soon. That's right. So, Invincible news. We've got the new poster. Every Friday, there's a new poster released. This one, probably my favorite. I love the way all the characters are stacked in it with Battle Beast at the top. Along with the new merch of the week, which this week was a Monster Girl trio of shirts with various...
Oh, they're so awesome. I wish there was a color other than white, because I cannot do white. Yeah. After one day of wearing it, it's fucked for me. I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. Why?
I don't know. I get like I'll
just
spill something
man.
on it. Like I don't know. It's fucking ruined. Koba jumps on me one time, and now there's
blood
prints on it.
After he goes outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
At first, I thought they were glow in the dark. The way they had that.
The blue behind her. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go away, Oliver. Nobody likes you.
Skybound released this, I can't say statement, but they announced Skybound X, which is a series coming up in, what was it, July, TJ? Do you remember?
Is it July?
June or July, I believe. Well, it's sometime this summer. Skybound is releasing new comic books weekly as part of this Skybound X line, which is bringing back some stories and characters from Skybound's past, present, and future. We've got a new comic book coming from Robert Kirkman and Astounding Wolfman creators Jason Howard, which is going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that. We've got Ryan Ottley returning for his take on the Walking Dead alternate universe kind of sci-fi alien thing that was going on, which really excited for that. There's the mini short in the back of Walking Dead 75.
Okay, so it is based off of a short or something like that?
Yeah, do you
remember the cover? Is that what it is? Where like the governor had like a weird metallic arm or something like that, right? Is that
I want to say it was a cover to issue 50, and then they actually told the story in the back of 75.
One of you guys bought that for me. Who, TJ, did you get that for me, or did both of you guys?
It was, I want to say we all pitched in.
Or you, me, or it was you two and Liz, I think. Yeah.
You got to find that thing. That's.
Oh, I got it.
That's worth a penny.
It's packed away.
Yeah, that one's nice. So really looking forward to that. Science Dog with Corey Walker coming back, which is really exciting considering how the end of, or the backside of Oblivion Song 25 had a new Science Dog story that ended on a cliffhanger, and it was really good. So really looking forward to that. But that's this summer. Can't wait to see what else they've got. There was also
they also say in the like after it, because it breaks down each issue, and it says like all the artists that are going to be a part of it and everything, and then the last paragraph it says something completely new from Robert Kirkman and Jason Howard, and then it says secrets with an exclamation point.
I did say that already, but that's cool.
I blacked out.
I know, it's okay.
Like, in my opinion, like that's fucking super exciting because I don't think it's going to be a part of. I don't think that's going to be a part of Skybound X. Do you?
Yeah. They did show the cover of what that series is, unless there's something more than that series as well. But I forgot the name of it, but it looks really cool. So yeah. There was also the New York Times article that came out, which was a nice read, which was all about, it was an interview with Robert Kirkman, and it was all about the influences on Invincible and the creation of Invincible. So Robert Kirkman would be like, I got these ideas from the Silver Age of DC Comics, or there's some of this pulled from Rob Liefeld's run on comics, or, I got this from Evil Dead, and all the different inspirations that made up Invincible, which is pretty neat. So seeing Invincible in the New York Times again is always cool. There was also finally an interview with comicbook.com, including I can't think of his name right now. Shoot.
A creator or
no?
Where Kirkman was doing the interview.
Yes. No. Yeah. He was doing an interview with
fucking Frank Miller.
No, that's not what I was thinking of. I was thinking of, and I feel
Robert
bad
Kirkman did interview
name.
Frank
Logan
Miller.
Moore. Damn it, we had him on the show. Logan Moore works for. He came on to the podcast to talk to us about Invincible in video games, and he actually writes for comicbook.com now. And he was part of that.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, he was part of that interview with him, and I listened in on that, and it was really good. A couple interesting things they talked about. I'm not going to bring it up. Go listen to it. But they talked a little bit about Kahul, that mummy. Slight spoilery thing regarding that, but I'm not going to tell you. It's not a big deal, but we'll save it. And then they brought up Invincible as a fighting game and talked a little bit more about that. So it was a good interview. Go check it out. I'm sure it's available somewhere over on comicbook.com. But shout out to Logan Moore for getting that interview and doing a great job.
It was Collider that
did Frank Miller.
Did the Frank Miller interview.
I didn't get to listen to that yet. Did you?
Yeah, it was cool.
Was it? That's neat.
Yeah. Because you could tell that like Kirkman, it's like listening to us interview Kirkman, but Kirkman is a fan of Frank Miller.
Yeah.
It's like that.
That's cool. All right. So that does it for Invincible related news. We're going to go over to our listener reaction section. We want to talk, talk about some listener letters that y'all sent in. Talk a little bit about what you thought of last episode before diving into our episode 5 recap.
If that's the plan,
episode 6 recap. Yeah.
Can I bring something else up?
Sure.
that was, in my opinion, the coolest thing to happen since the animated series came out.
What's that?
Our good friend Wyatt Layne did a remix of Machine Head's voice and turned it into a song, and it was the coolest thing that's happened since the animated series came out.
It is annoyingly catchy. Like it is.
I get it stuck in my head. I know where your family
lives. Oh God! Like,
and he like slows it down. It slows it down, like so it matches the beat perfectly. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh!
Just go listen to it. It's really cool. I messaged him on Twitter, and I was like, after Kirkman retweeted it and like did a quote tweet, and I'm like, "Are you freaking out right now?" He's like, "I'm like pacing around so much." Like it was pretty cool. It's got like 1,000 likes.
And then it ended up in the Men's Health article about Jeffrey Donovan and Machine Head's voice, and then it was in the bottom of that article too. Like, what?
That's awesome.
What is happening?
Was it really?
Yes.
Wow.
I say that the outro music for this podcast should be that
one. Okay.
Just on a loop.
Or I could just play it right now while we're talking about it.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Isotope, let's go. I know where your family lives, and that means you work for me till I say you're fucking done. It's imported Italian maple. I've got money. I know where your family lives, and that means you work for me till I say you're fucking done. It's imported Italian maple. By the way, I've got money. That's nice. That works nicely.
I'm starting off with a listener letter here. This one comes from Doug. Doug says, "Hey, Invincipals. I've not emailed in before, although I've tweeted you guys a couple times. I've been listening since the beginning because I couldn't convince enough people to read the comic and needed to hear people nerd out with me over each minute detail of Invincible. You guys have been amazing company over the years, and I regret not being more vocal part of your community previously. I'll try to rectify that." It's all good, man. I consider myself something of a super fan here in England. Oi! And as I've said, I tried to convince everyone I know to read the comic during its run, and recently tried to argue that they needed to read the comic before the animated series started. Most notably, my girlfriend, who has no interest in reading the comic at all, despite my pleas. So it was most satisfying when, after the first 3 episodes of the animated series, she begged me not to spoil the story for her, as she didn't want to wait. I didn't, but now she's hooked. I have a small request / help for your advice. A few years ago, just as the comic run ended, I started an Invincible half-sleeve tattoo on my upper arm and have a little space left in the filling background with space and stars, etc. Currently, I have, I'm not going to spoil it, but he has some characters fighting and Alan on there as well. He's been torn between getting Omni-Man, the Immortal, and Robot. I'm not 100% sure if I could fit in another 2, let alone 3, so at least 1 has to go. Do you have a suggestion? I'll tweet some photos, and I sent them along to you guys. Keep up the amazing things you do. Love from a fellow KFBF, Doug.
What were the options again?
Omni-Man, Immortal, Robot. If you had to drop one.
So
if I had to drop one of them,
yep.
Well, TJ, I was talking first, so I'm gonna go ahead.
No, you weren't. I was talking.
I would say Robot in his
no spoilers.
His last armor.
Okay,
that's what I would say because it kind of fits the theme of what he currently has going on.
You're saying that you would drop him?
No. I would say that's what it should be. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then you would keep which other one? You have to drop one. You can only keep 2.
What were the 3 that he said? Robot,
Omni-Man, Robot, and Immortal.
Oh, Immortal. Drop Immortal.
I think I would agree. Drop Immortal, just because just from the sheer amount of character development you get with the other 2 characters. And he says that Immortal's a kind of a fan favorite of his. So
but I think. I'm going to play the advocate and say that the 2 characters that he has currently, and we won't say who they are. I'll say this. One of them is Invincible, obviously. And then we won't say who the other one is. Then he's got Omni-Man, and then Robot, I feel like would be kind of a like the off one. But if he did like a Omni-Man with what he ends up doing to Immortal, would be a fucking sick, and it would make sense, and I think it's cool, especially with the other tattoo that he's got. Yeah, just my
it's a really
opinions.
It's a really sick tattoo. My favorite part is the Viltrum Empire
logo
with the sun. Yeah, it's awesome.
I've seen that tattoo before. I haven't seen the other tattoo.
He's posted it online. We've seen it there before.
Yeah, I've seen it on like an Invincible fans.
It's very rad. I like it a lot.
All right, who's next?
Murder Oliver today.
TJ, do you want to go next? I can go next.
Friend.
Go ahead.
Peyton writes in and says, hello to the crew of the Invincible podcast. I'm a fan of the show, and I've been reading Invincible slowly for the past few years now. I'm not sure if you were asked this before, but how do you think Angstrom Levy will tie into the show as far as his first appearance and his overall involvement in the story? Also, do you think that Kirkman and the team will get to play him? Obviously, whenever we do see him in the show, we're in for a treat. Thanks for your time, and hope you're all doing well. Peyton.
I think Angstrom Levy will...
So, skip ahead. There's time codes, but we're going to talk a little bit about the origin of how Angstrom Levy shows up in the comics, which is around, the first 20 issues or so.
I think he's going to be a tease at the end of the season. I think he's going to be like an after credits of the last episode kind of thing.
Yeah. Showing up similar in the comics in the Mauler's cell. Like the Maulers are in a prison cell, and a green glow kind of appears. We don't see him. We just see the portal.
I think that would fit really funny too with like the theme of the Maulers getting like broken out constantly and being used. I think that would be really funny. Yeah.
So who was going to be the voice of him? Who would be a good match?
I thought about this because we have someone else that asked this question in a little bit. And one that I thought of, and I was thinking of someone who's done some voice work that I really like, that has a lot of range, and I think I would go with Sterling K. Brown.
Who is Sterling K. Brown again?
He is in This Is Us. He is in... He is the voice of the General in Frozen 2. He can definitely do sadness, anger, all of that kind of stuff. He's done voice work, and I think they're going to do the similar thing that they did with Titan and give Angstrom a lot more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
they're going to make him. Yeah, they're going to make him.
So I think he would knock it out of the park.
I have a cool one that I'm excited about. So I had a difficult time like not going too old with Angstrom, like because you want to find like a grizzled old. With who Angstrom turns into, right? Yes. Imagine this, because think about who they got: J.K. Simmons, I know, fucking Mark Hamill. I mean, Mark Hamill does a lot of voice work, but think about this and how awesome this would be.
Ryan Reynolds.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
No, I don't.
Why? Why?
I feel like he's always like kind of high, like kind of high pitched.
Oh my God! Watch Men of Honor, dude. Watch Men of Honor.
I need to hear his voice. I haven't heard Cuba Gooding Jr. in so long.
That's
and
all
I can think of is like Rat Race.
No.
Yeah.
As good as it gets. He was in As Good as It Gets.
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Was he in? Oh yeah, that was one.
All right.
Yeah. What about you, TJ?
You got one?
I have, in my opinion, the fucking perfect one. But you guys I don't know if you guys are gonna know who he is. Don Curry or DC Curry.
Who's that?
He was in. It's literally the first thing that came to my mind. Like instantly.
Who is he? What did he do?
TJ, I don't know why, but this is who I pictured.
He did Spawn. The animated series.
I think we've talked.
I don't think he did Spawn. Did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Yeah, he did. He was the voice of the president in Rick and Morty.
Okay, so he never did Spawn.
Yes, he did.
Never did Rick and Morty.
What?
So whoever you're thinking of, it's not him. This guy was in all of the Friday movies, like Next Friday, Friday After Next.
I think I thought about him because he came up when we were thinking of like live action casting or something.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
I would not. I would not choose him for live action.
I don't mean us. I mean, I feel like I've seen it in like fan castings before. Interesting.
Okay. But he has a very like menacing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking this guy, Keith David, who I think would be sick.
Or maybe that's, because I could see that too. Maybe that's the one I've seen in fan casting.
Yeah, Keith David.
I think he would make an awesome voice too.
Yeah, he would be. But again, I feel like he's too old. Like I feel like Angstrom isn't that old, you know. And I feel like
voice acting, man. We can.
Yeah.
You never know. I got to listen to their voices later. I'm going to pull them up on YouTube and see what they sound like.
Bill, do you have an email?
I do. Let me get back to it here. Oh boy. Here we go. So I have a email from Sam Cotton. Hey guys, my name is Sam and I'm happy to be emailing you all for the first time. I'm a huge Invincible fan, having binge read the series along with Guarding the Globe, Invincible Universe, and Capes. Working my way through Tech Jacket, fingers crossed he appears. Britt and Wolfman. This guy's got it down. And the show has been badass. Episode 5 has to be my favorite so far. I do have a small gripe, and it's with the tryout scene for the Guardians of the Globe. Why didn't they cameo other characters like Britt, Kid Thor, and Knockout? I know Kid Thor and Knockout are members of Capes, which are their own thing, but still. I also have a theory for you all. So when Cecil said, well, here, why don't we talk about that?
I think the reason with that is the same reason why we don't see Science Dog.
Yeah,
or Tech
Jacket, or Wolfman.
Yeah, Kirkman
has come out and said that it's its own property.
Yeah. So
and it's like a legal thing.
Yeah, what that means is that it's not a legal thing. It's. I mean, Robert Kirkman owns fucking Brit. You know what I mean?
Sounds legal to me.
Yeah, I guess so. But if it's its own comic book, like it can't be an Invincible. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Brit has his own comic book.
It could be eventually. It's just they're not
right now.
Right.
Yeah. I also have a theory for you all. So when Cecil said to get a blood sample from Mark after getting maxed out like a credit card by Battle Beast, I had a thought. Could Cecil have taken blood samples from the original Guardians and will clone them or something like that? Awesome show. I look forward to more to come. What a time to be an Invincible fan. Warm regards or love, Sam.
Maybe that happens.
I think that would be very Cecil-esque. I think here, spoiler alert, if you don't want to know theories.
This guy doesn't know though.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, for any other listeners that don't want to know this part, I think with that theory, the whole blood sample theory, I think that he could very well reanimate the corpses of like War Woman.
That'd be crazy. That'd be a crazy twist on something that didn't happen in the comics.
But would totally work. Like, they have the bodies and stuff.
Oh, you're right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a cool concept.
It is a cool concept. I like it.
All right, I've got one from Alex Pritchett. Alex says, hey guys, so I've been hesitant to admit it, but I haven't really been a fan of Amber compared to the comics in 1 through 4. That said, I really enjoyed her in episode 5, and I'm looking forward to seeing how her character moves forward in the future. I love the part of Debbie taking the 20 minutes, but I'm really bummed to see that she knows, because it's really going to take away from the impact of the events of the finale. I think we're going to talk more about that later.
I don't think so after this.
We'll save it.
All right.
In terms of this episode as a whole, he's saying episode 5, I think it's easily the best since episode 1. Titan storyline was perfect. The fight scene at the end was perfect. I thought it was good to see Invincible's rage again, and that it did not work on Battle Beast. And I think it was even better that we got to see Robot's rage too, because that scene was epic. I think this episode has made Robot my favorite character in the show. The way he interacts with others, the way he avoided the Mauler twins, and the way he's developing feelings for Amanda has been perfect. Really excited to see more. Alex. P.S. It's the sweet one? What is that, TJ? Did she say, what is that?
It's the Dr. Pepper commercial.
Okay, I was like, is that the thing that?
Sweet one.
I was like, is that the thing that TJ had done?
It's Justin Guarini, the guy that beat.
We
Kelly
still
Clarkson.
don't know what you're doing.
I'm just gonna allude to that for every episode and never show you guys what. How have you not seen those commercials? They've been out for years.
Are you sure they haven't? It's that they haven't fucking showed up for years. I mean, when was he relevant? Back in the first season of American Idol, which was 20 years ago.
Exactly, and now he's doing Dr. Pepper commercials now today.
Now, no, he's not.
Yes,
no, he's not.
is.
You're bullshit. No way.
How often do you watch TV, Bill, with commercials?
Never.
That's why.
Hulu, and whenever
we never
Hulu
see
plays commercials.
So weird. All right.
Sweet. Diet Dr. Pepper.
You gotta stop doing it. It's driving me fucking nuts.
All right.
All right.
Bill, you up? TJ? Who's up next?
I'm up. And I got Billy writes in and says, "Hey guys, I'm a new listener to the show, but I've been a longtime fan of the comic. I'm really enjoying listening to your episodes and plan on giving the back catalog a listen to when I get the chance. So far, I'm over the moon with the series." Then Billy goes on to talk about something that happened at the end of episode 2 in relation to the comic. So he brings up, okay, so episode 2 was the Flaxens. The Flaxens kept coming back. They came back 3 times. That happened in the comics. One thing that did not happen in the comics was at the end of episode 2, Omni-Man went into the Flaxen dimension and like fucked it up. Okay. Then, so he's
we don't see
asking,
it. He just shows up.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
it shows him fuck it up.
In the
rip
comics.
shit apart. Huh?
I'm saying in the comics, we don't see what he does. He just shows up.
Right.
And then never mind. Go on.
Okay. So much later in the comics, we see the Flaxen dimension again, and it sparks like big story comes out of it, right? So he's questioning what we think about that.
Oh.
In terms of Omni-Man just destroyed the Flaxen dimension. So are we still going to see that in the future?
I think it's safe to assume that he didn't completely kill every single living being. I think he destroyed it. But, I mean, so much time passes there, too. In the months or whatever that has passed since that happened in the animated series, probably,
30 years, 40 years, maybe even 50.
Yeah, had probably passed in that dimension.
Oh, I think much longer than that.
Yeah, if not much longer. So
exactly.
You're right. So
I think
they've come back. So I guess we have to assume, if we're going to see the Flaxen dimension again in the animated series, that he just didn't kill them all.
If we get an entire animated series, we're absolutely. Are you saying that they're gonna leave that out?
Well, he was asking because it looked like he destroyed them.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's just how a society can rebuild itself after a huge fucking disaster. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So, Bill?
Sure. I got one here. So, from Good-Hearted Jake. Hello, everyone. I'm one of your brand new listeners of the podcast. I found you guys after watching the first 3 episodes and was wondering what people's reactions were. I read Invincible a few years ago when I was just getting into college and loved it. I'm trying to get a collection going, but with it being sold out on Amazon, it's going to be a while. It is sad because I want to get the collections for Riker too, and they're gone. You cannot find them anywhere, which is great, by the way.
Do you want the compendiums? Like the big ones?
Yeah, to borrow them. Yeah, he'd devour them.
I wasn't saying borrow them, but yes, of course you could borrow them. But the compendiums are at Pulp if you want to get them.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah. My question is this. Last episode, we were introduced to Battle Beast, a fan favorite character. I love this question. This is great. For good reason. His appearances in the comic aren't as high as one would expect, and I'm wondering if maybe they'll change that for the show. You've talked about the possibility of the gang going to hell to get Dark Blood, and the concept of them going there was something Kirkman apparently wanted to do, but for some reason couldn't? ? I'm wondering if we might get a rematch for Mark and Battle Beast as a way to show how he's improved and gotten stronger since the last episode, how he, as in Mark, has improved. Thank you and happy early 100 episodes. Your new West regular listener, Jacob.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's pretty much asking if we're going to get more Battle Beasts.
Yeah,
we are. How many issues?
I hope that we don't for a very long time.
I think season 2, the way I imagine it happening would be, and I'm not going to talk about it here because we still have a lot of new listeners. It's volumes 3 and 4, hardcover volume 3 and 4, roughly that kind of story. Which, for the most part, Battle Beast wouldn't show up, and if he does, it would be the very end of season 2 if they get to that point in the place that he shows up, which I could see them doing. But
think of how much they pulled up in season 1.
Yeah,
I mean, there's certain things that are past issue 25.
Oh yeah, Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So and there's certain things that are before issue 10.
Okay,
right,
guys.
So
listen.
I want more Battle Beast, but not this season.
It'll be the end of season 2.
The way he comes back
is great.
I know. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think. Okay. Did you ever think in a million years that they would enhance Damien Darkblood's story in a way that makes you like him more as a character? Like, of all the characters to choose, they would be like, let's make him have more fucking story. No, but part of what makes
Battle Beast amazing isn't the
exactly.
fact that we're expanding on his lore. It's the fact that he's the Boba Fett. He is this mysterious badass that we're only going to see every now and then. And when he shows up, it's insane.
And now Boba Fett
means more when he shows up.
Yeah,
I understand, but now a Mandalorian has his own show, and Boba Fett's like a main character, and he's getting a spinoff. Like, the people want more. Kirkman 1,000 pizza bet. Here we go. Hot take, TJ. Battle Beast 1,000% will show up in season 2 early.
No,
early.
I'm saying if he shows up in season 2, it'll be the second half.
Beast. I agree that Battle Beast will show up in season 2, but like Ryan said, it's going to be later.
Yeah,
it's going to be much later.
But to his question, yes, I think that him and Mark will probably fight again, but I don't think it will be in a trying to kill each other kind of way. I think it'll be more of a Battle Beast being like, "Oh, let me see what you got," and then he'll throw a punch. Cool. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Like, imagine the conversation they have after, like, "Oh, I remember you. You survived."
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot more Battle Beasts.
All right.
We're gonna get a lot more, and I'm excited about it.
I got one final email here, because you guys don't have any more, right?
I have one more.
I think I have one more too.
Oh, okay. Well, then this is my last one. This is from Luke. Luke says, "Hi, Ryan, TJ, and the mighty Bill. Sad news, gentlemen. I am having zero luck getting my wife to watch the show. Maybe for my birthday this year, I'll ask her to watch it. It's okay, Luke. I have done this podcast for 5 years, and my wife doesn't watch the show."
That's sad. So sad.
It's all right.
How does Katie not watch the show? My own mother watched the show.
I know. Katie watches There's a Pool in My Garage on HD Network.
There's a pool in my garage. If I asked her, she probably would. I'm not going to force it. She probably will. Are you
not having her watch it because you know that she's not going to like it, and you just don't want that kind of like
there's a little bit of both.
In your
I feel
life?
Like part of it would be that, but some of it, like, she might enjoy it. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Someday she'll watch it.
Does Luke have to say?
Couple comments about the show. TJ, I think you are right. Omni-Man called Cecil. He had the number, and he knows how much Mark could take without dying. Mm-hmm. I know I won't see it until season 2, but I'm already really looking forward to. I'm not gonna say it. But yes, so am I. So one of my favorite things in Volume 3. Can you give us a hint as to what he's talking about, so the people from the comic that have read the comic know? A scene on a roof, looking up.
Is someone crying?
No.
I don't know what you're talking about then.
Is it nighttime?
A scene in Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all that.
Oh, okay.
I'm really looking forward to that stuff. I was not a huge Rexplode fan, but the show is converting me. Jason Mantzoukas makes him so much more likable. My favorite line so far is when he's talking to Monster Girl and says, "What the fuck?" How about the Battle Beast blood lip lick?
Oh,
I was not expecting
awesome.
it. God, that was gross.
It was so gross.
All right, speed round questions. If there's a season 2, who do you cast for Angstrom Levy? We already did it. Cool. So that's how fast we are. Have you been streaming the episodes like Kirkman said? I will say for the first, couple weeks, it was always on my phone or on my TV, just playing in the background. I've let up a little bit on that, but it is the kind of thing where I do try to put it on whenever I get a chance, if I need like background.
Me too.
Much more at the beginning, but now.
Mm-hmm. I feel a little bit less guilty about not doing it so much now because of how much hype it's getting. I feel pretty confident that it's doing well. What other independent comic book do you want to see become an animated series?
Oh, my instinct goes directly to Something is Killing the Children. But I feel like I would. I mean, I want to see it live action because there's like a bunch of monsters in it, and I want to see like live action monsters. That's really tough.
My instinct is
an animated show?
Yeah, mine always jumps to Daniel Warren Johnson because his stuff I think would suit really well with animated.
That's good.
So Extremity or Murder Falcon being like a miniseries or something like that.
Murder Falcon is a great one.
Imagine like a 6-episode Murder Falcon story. You know what I mean?
And have actual music.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes. With Daniel Weller Johnson actually doing the music.
That's the answer.
Dude,
that's the answer.
That would be great. So yeah.
Bill?
Anything?
As what I would want to see.
Anything from Cates?
Anything from what?
Donnie Cates?
I
What
feel
did
like
he just?
Redneck would have to be
live
action. That'd be
I don't know.
amazing.
I don't know. I can't really think of anything else that I want to see.
Which cast?
Other than Tech Jacket.
Which cast member?
Crossover would be good.
Yeah.
Animated.
Which cast member would you want to have on the podcast? We've talked a bit about this.
Which what? Animator?
Cast member.
Cast member.
Oh, I mean, besides Steven Yeun?
I mean, you could. I mean, whatever you want. Which one do you
Jason
want?
Mantzoukas.
Jason Mantzoukas.
Just because. I mean, yes, he's Rex Blode, who's my favorite character, but he's so much fun.
I think he would be the best guest on this show.
Yes, he'd just be ridiculous.
We'd lose our mind over J.K. Simmons or Steven Yeun or Mark Hamill, but having Jason Mantzoukas on the show would probably be the better episode, if you know what I mean.
I agree. I think it would be really good content, but I think having J.K. Simmons as someone who doesn't freak out about the comic book and just knows what he knows, and I'm sure he loves what he's doing in it. You know what I mean? I would just love to get in the mind of Nolan. What are his motivations? What are J.K. Simmons motivations for Nolan? Is he actually angry? Is he sad?
I'm excited to hear him talk about the character after the season ends, because everything that he said about the character before in all the interviews, he just was so. He couldn't say anything.
You can't say anything. You can't say anything about it. Yeah.
Luke says, "Thank you, gentlemen, for keeping. Thank you, gentlemen. Keep on having fun. It's what makes the podcast great." Luke from Los Angeles.
Oh.
Thanks, Luke.
Okay. Thanks, Luke. I have the.
We're skipping me then. We're just skipping.
We're going to skip you. Is it? So this is from The Last Sandwich. Interesting. Good afternoon. Just wanted to give you a comment and question on the last episode and the future of the series. First, did you notice the same orphan that Martian Man was hanging out with was at the community center? Yes, absolutely. Thanks. She looked pretty sad. Here's hoping Shapesmith takes over that plot point. That'd be pretty interesting.
That would be interesting. I do like that.
Second, excuse me. With legal issues, digging at the future of the series crossover characters. If things don't plan out as we hope, how do you think they'll handle the holes, especially Tech Jacket, considering Zach becomes an MVP for the Invincible and Viltrumite War? If he's not there, we're going to feel it. 1,000% agree. And do you think they're going to make dollar store copies like Seance Dog and make a technical suit, you know what I mean, instead of Tech Jacket? Do you think they're going to try to fill in the holes with characters that are like them but not quite? The
biggest loss would be to Alan's relationship, and that would be, through all that, which would be tough. But
okay. Let me ask you guys this: if you think that there is one character that they have to bite the bullet on, and possibly lose the rights to do their own thing, so Brit, Wolfman, Tech Jacket, capes, that kind of stuff, who would you absolutely want to see? They have to lose
the rights? Oh, who would we want to see?
They'd have to lose kind of control over the future of that character, like Science Dog.
So are you saying this character will never appear in the Invincible animated series?
No. Which character of those do you want to see in the Invincible universe?
Most.
We've talked about this before too. It's, for me, hands down, it's Wolfman. Bill, yours is Tech Jacket.
Mine's Tech Jacket for multiple reasons, though. You've got the Geldarians, you've got Geldarians that are. You have
the Wolf Corps.
Yeah, but the Wolf Corps doesn't do shit. They show up one time and then they help rebuild some stuff after some shit happens. But fucking Tech Jacket
the Geldarians
The Geldarians are on the fucking board.
We're getting too much into this.
Here's the thing. I would want. I would rather have Tech Jacket be a part of the Invincible animated series, but I would rather Wolfman have his own standalone series that kind of loosely ties into Invincible. That's what I mean. That would be what I would want most.
That's what I mean. So which character would you rather see in the Invincible universe but not have his own thing ever because now he's a part of Invincible?
Then Tech Jacket.
But if you're asking me to choose one or the other, like what Ryan is saying is not an option, is what you're telling me, Bill. If it's not an option, Wolfman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
If I had to choose one or the other and the other does not appear at all, I would still go with Tech Jacket just because of what his impact on the greater series means more. Yeah. So,
all right. Final email?
Final email. Let's do it.
All right.
Yep.
All right. The final email is brought to us by my mortal enemy.
What?
Mitch Krassen writes in and says, "What's up, friends? Fun thing about episode 5, I had 2 separate people reach out to me about how they think that Amber is actually Titan's daughter. I see the connection that they both call the community center a second home. So that was neat. And I don't think I caught that. I thought that was kind of cool.
I caught that they both called it that, but yeah, I don't know if I'd agree that it was the daughter, but
Titan's a little young. He's a little young for that, I think.
Speaking to the blood sample and what the GDA could do with it, it's a stretch, but could they eventually use it with some reanimate stuff? Would be kind of a cool way to show how they are able to overcome Mark. 3 to go, Mitch Krassen. P.S. Rexplode is now clearly a much better character than Dinosaurus. I see that now. TJ, you're always right, and I'm ashamed to have ever doubted you. You know, it's like, it takes a really big man to admit you're false, Mitch. And I kudos to you, sir. Kudos.
That's not fair. We haven't seen Dinosaurus in the show yet. Wait until Dinosaurus shows up
5
in the
years
show
from now,
and then fucking talk.
5 years from now, Mitch writes in and flips again.
Bill, I'm so sorry. Dinosaurus is the best in the show.
I guess it just depends on who actually reads his emails, because you can.
Like he knew you were going to read his email, right?
Unless TJ's saying that's not what Mitch said.
He didn't really say that. Welcome to the joke, Bill.
Oh, he didn't
I
say
thought
that?
he actually said it. Well done, TJ. Well done.
That.
All right.
Fooled me.
All right, let's get into our episode 5 recap. We did not, however, pick our favorite scene from episode 5, even though I just said episode 5 recap. From episode 5, we all had the same favorite scene, right?
Yeah. I think Battle Beast, the fight at the end.
Yeah, the fight at the end. TJ, was there something that stuck out more to you?
I'm trying to think. I mean,
TJ wants to be different.
No, I think it would have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what made.
I mean, I guess the only thing that I could think of that would also be up there would be the intro, Titan, which was awesome as well.
I will call out Debbie setting the timer and searching the house.
Ooh. That's good.
That was a good scene. Like, I remember when we were watching, we were all like, oh, that's so fucking smart and diabolical of her. But, I mean, come on, man.
That was good.
Fucking,
but yeah. All right.
So,
Bill?
Episode 6 is being handled by your man, Bill, over here.
Your man.
Episode 6, You Look Kinda Dead is the name. Do you guys know the timestamp for it? How long the episode? I think it was 44 minutes and some change.
Amazon has it listed at 45 because the episode's live right now. So
it is live right now.
Mm-hmm. So 45, which is kind of the average. The episode 3 was the shortest by a lot at 42, but the longest one was 48 at the first one. So 45, right where a minute less than last week. Excellent.
So we open up at a college, and that right there sets the tone for everything. You know exactly what's to come.
If you've read the comic.
Yeah, if you read the comic. So some girls are walking around and a bush kind of trembles, and out comes Doug, who is fucking drunk. And if you couldn't tell right off the bat, this is your main man, Justin Roiland, from Rick and Morty. He plays the voice of Rick. He plays the voice of Corvo in Solar Opposites, which is also really fucking funny.
It is funny.
If you didn't know that it was Justin Roiland,
I don't watch that. I don't watch that much Rick and Morty. I've watched a couple episodes here and there. I like the show. I just haven't gotten around to really watching much.
That's a shame.
But dude, I was like, "Is that?" And then he burped, and I'm like,
and then he burped, and he burped mid sentence too. And he's like, "Bruh," and I was like, "Oh man, that's your man."
Yeah.
And it was a funny guy because he's the son of like the the owner of the college or something like that. His dad, like,
he owns a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, and he like points to the wrong direction, the wrong building, and then he's like, "Oh, the college is right over there."
That was a great bit.
Really, really funny. And then the girls go away, and he gets syringed in the neck by your boy.
Is everybody
Sinclair.
your boy? Is that how this is going to be?
Yeah, he's the next your boy.
His notes are all just the boy, and then the boy.
It is the boy.
The boy.
So, what do you guys think of D.A. Sinclair's voice?
I think it's perfect.
I thought it was great, man.
It's very
creepy
like
and,
kind of
it's
how I imagined it.
It's fucking perfect. Like he reads like in my head. Like he sounds like who D.A. Sinclair sounded like in my head.
Yep. And when he's out of costume or whatever you would call it, when he's in the classroom just talking, he has that arrogance and that like smart ass attitude. Like he did a really good job.
I think we were kind of expecting that too when they announced Ezra Miller as the voice. We knew it was going to be perfect, and it was.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next scene is Doug is strapped to a chair, or to like a gurney or a table. Yeah. And he obviously doesn't know what kind of troubles he's in, because D.A. Sinclair is giving a speech, and he accidentally hits a light, and he was like, "You nerd, you're a fucking nerd." And then he looks down and he sees his hand is like robotic. And you see the corpses hanging, like the reanimin hanging in the background. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about them. I'm gonna, and he's talking, he cuts his fucking vocal cords out.
Yeah.
Which was brutal.
Yes.
Because he was talking all this shit, and he's like, "I think we both agree that you're better without a voice."
Yeah. And then we get another really funny title gag. So he's like, "Don't worry about them. You're going to be invincible." And it's
really fast. Was this the quickest one yet?
It was the quickest one yet.
This was super fast.
Well,
I mean, what was it? Episode 2 or whatever was also really quick with Donald saying it. This one might take the cake though. This was fast.
Yeah.
It kind of felt good to get it out of the way that early though. Because then there isn't that like, when's it coming? When's it coming? Because like last episode it was like halfway through, right, TJ? Like the midpoint of the episode.
Was Mount Everest like?
Oh, that's what I was thinking.
No, because that had Kahul, then the desert, and then the mountain, and then it happened.
Yeah, this was the fastest by far, I think. All right, so next, we get a flash to the hospital and the aftermath of the Battle Beast fight. And your girl, Monster Girl, drowning in her own blood, which was nuts. Like I wasn't expecting to see like the aftermath of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you go to the next episode and you like everybody's fine. You know what I mean? Like you don't. I wasn't expecting to see all that hospital stuff.
The scene, like. I always have a problem with like animation and gore and stuff like that. Like it never seems to hit or have like an impact. But seeing Amanda and Monster Girl thrash on the table and like gurgling blood, I'm like, this is fucking brutal. Like this is insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, Robot enters the room and he's like, I know how to save her. I've been studying her anatomy. And they're like, get out of here. And he's like, I can leave. You might even succeed in getting me out, but she'll die.
Yeah.
So you can either do what I say and help me, or she'll die.
She like transforms at one point, and then transforms back when he goes up to her.
Yep, really cool. So Black Samson has these little fucking discs on him that charge and are kind of like the clear, like those paddles. Did you guys think that was like possibly a Powerplex Easter egg? Like those could be the things that Powerplex is trying to experiment with or something like that?
No, but that did look, now that you're saying that, it does look kind of reminiscent of what his costume kind of looks like, but I don't think that's anything. I just think that it was just a cool way to, do those things.
Yeah, guess so. And then it goes to Mark, who has his stomach open, and they're like, the comments that they're making is like, he has a hole straight through him. Thank God whatever hit him was sharp. He's probably got spinal damage.
The very best part of this scene, though, is seeing Debbie and Nolan through the window arguing, but you can't hear what they're saying, but you can see that Debbie is pissed.
Yeah.
I love the, like, whatever you want to call it, like the directing of that, I guess. Or, like,
the directing of
the setup of it was perfect.
Again, TJ, I don't know if it's the directing or the the animation, I think, was really good this episode, but there is something with the directing. Like there are several scenes like that, TJ, that I'll bring up as we go, like that just like were so good.
the editing, like the editing in between shots, like the amount of stories that were happening in this episode, how it was like this scene, but they all like blended very well with each other. I think we didn't really give like initial thoughts on this episode, but we'll tell them as we go. But episode 5 was my favorite and had some of the best action and insane things happen. This one, just from like everything about it, like was just firing on all cylinders, and I was really impressed with a lot of this episode. This one felt very penultimate to me, like, which is crazy because we have 2 episodes left after this, and that just makes me fucking so excited for what's going to happen. But one thing that you might have skipped, I don't know if you were going to get back to it, but when they were doing the paddles on Black Samson, at one point they went to hit him again, and it didn't work, and instead it seems as though his powers reactivated or did something that sparked within him and brought him back to life.
Back to life. Yeah.
I did say Black Samson got his powers back, but we don't know that, and he doesn't even know that.
He doesn't even know that either.
Still don't know that.
Yeah. I don't know. Well,
it's obvious.
I don't know if he
probably
did officially yet. I think that it's beginning or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mark is awake. He's like, how long was I out for? And I think it was 6 days, right? Almost a week.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh no, like Amber. And Eve was like, don't worry. I told her you were hit by a bus. Like she was covering for him. And then Nolan says, I knew that you'd be okay. Like he's very arrogant about it.
So is that our answer? Is that all we're going to get?
About what?
Him watching?
He said, I knew you'd be okay.
I knew you'd be okay.
I think we'll probably get more during a confrontation between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
But if they don't ever talk about it ever again, I'm fine with it.
I guess I'm fine either way. But I think that's our answer. I knew you'd be fine.
Yeah.
Or I knew you'd pull through.
Yep. I love, and I said this
which
later
means you owe me another pizza.
I really love how Eve and Mark have like a friendship in the show, like a really strong friendship before they start to have like these feelings for each other. Anyways, so the next thing that we have is Nolan and Cecil. And
again, another scene where the directing or editing or whatever, Cecil is looking through a glass window at Monster Girl and Robot, and then
that's what I mean.
Out of the like reflection just appears Nolan next to him, and then the way this scene plays out with the words that they're saying to each other and the angles that they're using. Oh my god,
it's very like uncomfortable.
I will say this, dude. This whole episode had several scenes that made me so uncomfortable in a very good way. It was crazy,
right? Because
I was like sick to my stomach. And the cool thing is I was watching it with Liz, and because I started watching it, and then she was like, are you watching the next episode? And she was like, I thought you said that we could watch together. I'm like, all right, absolutely. So watching it with somebody else, it changes it.
Really?
It's like, oh God, it makes it so much better. So anyways, they're talking about Dark Blood. Nolan's like, so did he admit to it? You know, and Cecil's pretending like he didn't banish him to hell. And he's like, no, you know, he's whatever. We're more concerned about why he did it. So like the conversation that they're having, Cecil is passively aggressively
talking about Nolan.
Talking about Nolan, like, yeah, I just wonder why he fucking did it. And you know,
like he's a demon.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
What more motivation do you need?
And then Cecil says, I just thought I knew him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Really good. Really jab there.
What line does he say about Mark? Because that was really good too.
So he says, so that's the next scene. Or the next part. So he talks about how, you know, I'm surprised you let Mark do this. And he was like, I told him not to. And he's like, oh, well, you didn't have this kind of problem on Viltrum. And he's like, no, we didn't.
No,
and
he told me he wasn't going to go after Machine Head. And then Cecil like snickered and he's like, what's so funny? He goes, you're the most powerful man in the world and your son still doesn't listen to you.
Yeah. And you don't have that problem on Viltrum. And he's like, no, we don't. And Cecil's like, well, he's a human teenager and that's what they do. And Nolan like clenches his fist. Like
it's just angrily jabbing in there to like Cecil, I don't think did this intentionally, but we know that Nolan is hearing someone say, well, he's a human.
Right.
Not only that, but I went back to the scene in episode 4 where Debbie and maybe it was 5, where Debbie and Nolan were talking like at the sink, and she was doing the dishes. I think it was last episode. And he says he won't listen to me. I don't want him to listen to this Titan guy. I want him to listen to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So William and Mark are talking, and this is like the first time that we've seen William, I think, in 2 episodes.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And they even talk about how like they haven't seen each other because of all these excuses and stuff like that. But William talks about how he can't do something because he's going up to Upstate University to spend the night with Rick and kind of be shown like the medical kind of program they have there, and then talks about like how great Rick is and how hot Rick is and how they met last summer. And Mark says he sees a poster and a guy and a girl, and he's like, oh no, wait.
Yeah, you got
I skipped the whole scene. I skipped the scene with Mark and Amber. So Mark is at Amber's house, and she was like, I pretty much broke up with you. And he's like, I know I did. I wanted to start over again. And he goes to leave, and she pretends like she's talking on the phone, and she's like, hey, handsome Mark Grayson. And it was a really cute moment of them kind of like getting over the past and what had happened. And
it kind of felt like, like they say, they're starting over again, but this was strike 2 kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we see strike 3 later this episode.
Yeah. This is like strike 100, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that we've seen, you know what I mean? A lot of other stuff has happened. Yeah.
Then again, he was hit by a bus. So, I don't know.
Or he was hit by a battle beast. Yeah. Which.
A battle bus.
I don't know. Like, some of these things, some of the pacing I have an issue with, like, especially with, like, how many times is Amber going to be like, I mean, they've only been dating for a few months, and he's not a good boyfriend.
Yeah.
You know? So. But there's consequences to that, and I think that happens at the end of the episode, and we'll talk about my theories.
That's what I was going to say, that there are consequences to that, and I think that there's a point of that. But I am going to come back to what you just said, because I agree with what you just said for a later part. We'll come back to it.
Cool. Flash forward, Mark wants to take Amber up to Upstate University with Rick and spend the night and have like a date like with her. So then Mark is packing in his room. Eve comes in, and
cool scene, like coming through the window and everything felt very much like from the comic.
Right, exactly. And he's like, "Thanks so much for covering for me," and
he hugs her and everything. Like there was
he hugs her and
nice moment.
And he says what he's packing for, and she seems kind of like, oh, you're going. And he's like, oh, well, do you want to come? Like he's just nonchalantly invites her, and she talks about how she doesn't want to do the superhero thing anymore, and she wants to.
She doesn't want to go to college.
She doesn't want to go to college. She wants to help people now that need help, as opposed to just like stopping alien invasions. And interestingly, Mark is kind of feeling the same way. He's like, maybe we both need a fresh start, because I don't think I want to do this forever, too. Like, so he's already kind of like living in regret.
Yeah, him saying, maybe we both need a fresh start. And then like that hangs for a minute, and you see Eve's like, reaction to that. And then Debbie calls him, and he looks away, and then she's gone. So it was just that moment of, like she's getting her fresh start now, but maybe she has to wait for Mark.
Yeah. Also, I think it's interesting that, to your point, Ryan, you talked about it when we watched this episode, that Eve says that she had a moment with Amber in the community center where that's where she got the idea that she could help people.
And she's like, I could be doing this. I could be doing this. I could be, like, it's great.
Right. So funny scene. Rick pulls up, William pulls up. Oh, by the way, on my notes, I have enough respect for the character that instead of like abbreviating Will, I spelled out William every single time that I wrote his name.
Good job.
Which was a lot.
Good job. They
haven't done that. They haven't done that gag yet.
I don't know if they're going to do that gag. This would have been the episode to do it.
The gag we're talking about is like everybody always wants to call him Will or Bill, and he's like, no, my name is William. Yeah. And like that's his name. And everybody always wants to abbreviate it. Mm-hmm. So anyways, they get into the car. Debbie's like, no drinking, no sex. And
Hold on.
Or go ahead.
Right before that happened, it goes from the scene where he's talking in the bedroom with Eve to this scene where he's like, the car pulls up and he's about to get in, and Invincible is distracted and still looking up into the sky. And then Amber's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just like still in a little bit of pain." But he's thinking about Eve.
I disagree.
I didn't see that.
So?
I don't think so, because I think this is. I don't know. I mean, I get what you're thinking, TJ. That it could be that, and maybe I'm wrong. I took it as this is he's. It's more for the viewer. He's looking at his parents standing next to each other in his house. And the next time...
He didn't show his parents.
Yeah, they're both standing together in the doorway of the house. And he's never going to see that again.
Oh, my God.
And there's a moment of him looking at him. And then he gets in the car. And that's it.
Well, I still think it's because there's more conversation later on about him. And I don't know.
We'll see. So Debbie, is acting distant to Nolan the entire time. Like, after they say goodbye to Mark, she just kind of ignores Nolan, walks in the house. We get some fun. Oh, we get a funny scene. Debbie. So she's like, Nolan is like, "Hey, do you want to do something tonight?" And she's like, "No, don't you have a deadline for your book,
dude?"
And it's the first time.
Which, yes, they do call out that he has he's an author. He writes books.
Yeah, he's an author. He writes books. Like,
so cool.
First time.
But when did they say that?
She said, "Don't you have a deadline for your book?"
Yeah, but that's all she says. And if I hadn't read the comics, I'd be like, what is she talking about? I don't know if I would fully get that.
But the fact
he's
that,
an author. It means he's an author.
But that doesn't matter, because when they do bring it up again, the seeds have been put there that when you they mention it.
But I feel like that's something, just like, say what it is. You know what I mean? Like, say what it is now. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of like a weird, like...
Yeah, it doesn't all have to be like, because you're an author. Like, you don't want it to feel that weird. Like, we just got a piece of the conversation.
I think there's a very easy way to do it and not make it corny, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be confused about that, and it's not like it's some like big reveal. Oh shit, he's an author. That's what that meant in episode 6. You know what I mean? Like, just say what he is. Yeah, I just didn't like how they brought it up.
I mean, I guess it just doesn't come up, and I like in the natural dialogue, and I think I commend them for not like being like, "And Nolan, the author," you know what I mean, like in the intro. And
you don't think that they have the capability of bringing that up?
You know what? I guess we'll see, because let's ask the question now. For those that don't read the comic and watch the show, are you confused on whether or not Nolan is an author, or did you catch that? Because he is an author, and that's what she was referring to.
My thing is, there will be a very subtle... They'll just say, maybe at the end of the season or early next season or whatever, that, "Oh yeah, they're because of, his book sales or whatever. And then it's just going to won't be a big deal. So I kind of like that they put that in there. It's
definitely not going to be a big deal.
Yeah. But
that's why I feel like you should just say it.
The tone and the way she said all this to him, though, was awesome.
The tone was so apparent that she's at this point, she's done hiding it.
Yeah.
She like doesn't care if he knows, but the fact that he does know, and it is so apparent, is what makes him even more suspicious. And later on, he ends up following her.
He goes up and just like flies up to the bag.
Ryan, you're ruining my recap.
Go.
Okay. So after she leaves, he goes and checks to see if the bag is there, and he sees that the bag is there. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, good." Like, and then he's like, "Wait a minute," and he opens it, and I'm like, "Oh fuck no,
dude!" And
I was expecting to see the costume there, because I didn't know. We don't know what Debbie's up to. Yeah. And then he pulls out like just a blanket or whatever the fuck is in there. I was like, "Oh my fucking god!" The look on his face of like, "Oh shit," and anger. Like, I could only imagine how he feels being caught, knowing that Debbie has this fucking costume.
Yeah, it's over.
It's over.
Whew.
So we're at college.
Driving in the car, talking about Rick the whole way.
Talking more about Rick the whole time. So then they pull up, and Rick, goes, "William, oh, here, follow me this way." And they're talking. And then there's a song that plays. TJ, do you have the song that plays?
I did, but I didn't know you. I mean, you're the one doing the recap. I didn't know I was fucking.
Well, get ready for this, because I have TJ song ? at every song that plays.
Wow.
Do you have it?
It is My Type. My Type by LG.
And this is a hilarious scene because
it's so funny.
Then it's Rick walking away, and it is a close up of his ass, and then William saying of Rick's ass. Sorry, and William's like, "Oh, this is going to be a good weekend." Oh my god, so fucking funny. So the next scene we have, and this is what I mean. Like every scene is like a different story that's happening. Like there are so many threads that are happening in this,
but it doesn't feel like it's too much.
It doesn't
and,
at all.
And you know why? Because it's an hour-long animated series. If these were half-hour episodes, take out half of those, if not more, of those plots that are happening. You know what I mean? Yep. It would be they're going to the college. That's it. Maybe, you see a little bit of robot stuff going on or something, but that would be it. Mm-hmm. Like this hour-long form of storytelling is giving them an opportunity to actually let them like really draw these stories out.
Breathe. And you know what? Since the first 3, I don't think that I have a complaint or like it's not jarring to me anymore that it's an hour. Like it feels right. It feels they're using the time wisely. They're filling it appropriately, and it doesn't feel jam-packed. It doesn't feel bloated. It feels right.
The first one felt like a lot because it was very overwhelming for us to finally be seeing this and the voices and the animation and the speed at which they're going. But now that we're like in it and we're going at this regular pace, it's just, and it also doesn't feel like, it feels like enough. You know what I mean? The episode doesn't end and I'm like, that's it. I need it right now. Of course I want the next one, but like I can live off this for a week, It's great.
Yeah, I would disagree. I feel like every time this fucking show ends, I get so sad that there's 7 more days for us to fucking watch a new one.
I'm gonna draw it out.
I do love it. I fucking love it because like what's cool for us is that we do get the episodes a little early, so it's easier for us because we watch it and then we get to experience it with as everybody else gets to watch it. But then that moment from like Friday to fucking the day that we get it is like, oh my god, I'm like, I can't.
I watched this episode back to back twice today.
Yeah.
Very cool. So the next scene that we get is Eve at home, and she's packing her bags. Her parents, her specifically her dad again is being a dick.
Mm-hmm.
And
great, shutting the door on him again.
Yep. Yeah. Well, she disappears. She takes the door out of the house, and she's like, "Don't worry, the back door is still there." Mm-hmm. And her dad
screaming at her.
Her dad is a little bit more like I think of an understanding. Like you understand,
he's still the dick that he was in episode 5. He still has all the same asshole reasonings, but there is one point where he says, like, I just want you to have a normal life. Like he says something about like her getting hurt, like you're going to kill yourself. Mm-hmm. So it does, like, he's an asshole and he is a dick, but he cares about his daughter. He doesn't want that life for his daughter. And that's why Eve says that's what's best for you. It's not what's best for me.
Yeah, that's the thing. He cares about her, but he doesn't care about what she wants or the life that she wants to live.
He wants her to fit into his cookie cutter world, and he's uncomfortable with her having powers and putting herself in danger because he loves her. But, that's not the case. He's not supportive at all. Like, that's like your daughter is a superhero and has powers, and you need to live with her having powers. You can't just have her not ever use them, Yeah. So the next thing that we get is Rick, Amber, and William and Mark sitting in a like intro to biology course, and they're talking about like anatomy and how it's all about quality of life, not how long you live, but what you can do to make your life better. And D.A. Sinclair in his suit, out of the shadows, in the light, is your boy D.A. Sinclair.
Your boy.
Just is like, this is laughable. He's like,
dude, how great was Amber? If like her inclusion into this scene,
dude. So D.A. Sinclair is like, when a human wants to go faster, they don't run, they get into a car. When they want to fly over there, they don't flap their wings, they get into a plane. He's like, there's limitations that the body can't do. And he gets into an argument with the professor, and then Amber's like, you're kind of being a dick.
Uh-huh.
Like,
she calls him out immediately.
Calls him out, and not under her breath.
No.
Like, loud for everybody to hear. And they have this confrontation, and D.A. Sinclair is like, I could have had a free ride at MIT or whatever it is, or I could have my own lab. And he's like, we'll take it. And then he takes notice to Rick's like physique. He's got like an alpha male stature. and then he kind of like goes off. So do you guys like Rick?
Yeah.
So far,
I really like Rick.
Yeah, I thought can't remember his name. What's his name? Thought he did a great job too.
William?
No, voice actor for Rick from Frozen.
Oh, Goff.
Oh God, that was him.
Goff.
Jonathan Goff.
Jonathan Goff,
Yeah, he did great.
Holy shit! How did I not?
Yeah, that was
How
him.
did I not think that? And we knew that was happening too.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like an asshole.
Hey, it just fit right into the character for you, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was. I was just kind of enjoying the show. I wasn't even thinking about it. So the next scene we get is Eve flying and looking for somewhere to kind of like put her roots down, I guess, for what she wants to do. Right.
See what you did there.
And this is interesting because I remember reading something. I don't know if it was a review or if it was someone talking about the comic book, but they were talking about how it wouldn't be right to have her do what she did in the comic because that was kind of like not. I
think it's gonna. That's why
politically correct. Like
I think it's gonna be a bigger picture, which is what she's doing.
Yeah, so in the comic she goes to Africa and she's helping out like the natives that are there as if they need help. And I think that's the problem that people had is that like it made it seem like African people like in these small tribes needed help and that's what she was doing. While this seems more like real life helping people because she's just wherever. It's
disaster, basically. She's helping natural disasters and emergencies and accidents and everything like that from across the globe.
Yeah, I guess in the comic she seemed like a missionary, spreading the word of Christianity. Like it seemed very much like that, while this actually is her legitimately using her powers to help people, which we don't get that yet, but she makes a treehouse.
The treehouse is fucking awesome, though. I love that.
Yep. So we get a fun montage back at college of Mark and Amber eating hot dogs and kind of living the college life and really enjoying themselves. TJ, what's the song that's playing here?
Ryan, you got the list.
He closed it. Hold on.
There's another fun song playing.
Knock Me Off My Feet by Soak.
There you go.
I will say that I was kind of hoping for, like I saw the hot dog stand and I thought that was a missed opportunity. Like to put the hot dog, like if you're going to get hot dogs, why not go to the hot dog stand that was in the comics?
In Hawaii?
It doesn't have to be in Hawaii. Just make it like the same hot dog.
At a college campus, okay. A thing the shape of a hot dog.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be good. So now we get our Mark and Amber have this moment and Mark is like, this is what I want. I want this for us. Which again, I think is a little soon to say, hey, let's go to the same college and stuff like that.
That's what I was going to say. I was alluding to before when I said that. Yeah. That she was like, yeah, okay, why not? Maybe because you guys fight every fucking scene.
You've been dating for 3 months. Like,
you guys haven't been dating that long, and you're basically committing yourself to him for the next 4 years. And if it doesn't work out, like, sure, I mean, you're there to go to college and you're there to learn, but I mean, the reason why you're choosing this specific college is to be with your current boyfriend who you're having major issues with.
Not to mention, in the previous episode, Mark had a conversation with his principal saying, I don't know if I want to go to college. Like, and I get this was kind of like an eye-opening moment. Like maybe he does, maybe he doesn't want to be a hero forever.
Something big happened to him between him saying that and this episode.
Yeah. I guess I just don't like how that scene played out. I don't know. Him and Amber, TJ, to your point, no person in their real mind, but these are kids again.
Yeah, I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
Because you're like you're saying, man, they are about to graduate high school. They need to make a decision within the next 3 months. Mm-hmm. Hey, you're going there. I think we should both go here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we get a reanimate attack.
That's right.
And it's so Doug comes out of the we don't know it's Doug yet. We know it's a reanimate. Bursts out of the ground, is like distressed, like clawing at his face and like bleeding from his mouth all of a sudden, and like really doesn't know, like it seems like it's a program gone wrong.
It's very confused.
Yeah. The best thing about this scene was fucking Amber. Like,
just step it up.
She was the first one out of Mark, out of everybody else. She was the first one to run up to people and like get them out of there. She's like, guys, help me. Like, I want to save these people.
Yeah, a lot of them like froze, and she's the one running up trying to help people, and she got everybody moving.
Another cool part was Mark standing there in street clothes, and he's angry. He's like about to fight the Reaniman, and there is a pedestrian right by his feet, and Amber's like, Mark, like, help that girl. and so then he kind of gets his mind clear and helps that girl out of the situation. And that goes back to what Black Samson was talking about, how they're not there to fight bad guys. They're there to save civilians and save pedestrians. And that's what Amber was trying to do. And Mark just wanted to punch this guy while there was someone that needed help
right in front of him.
Right there.
Yeah.
Good catch. Like, first episode, Guardians of the Globe, like, they were more concerned about getting people evacuated out before they even started fighting the Mauler twins.
That's great.
Yeah, very, very amateur move to like just want to fight with people around.
Yeah. So another call to the editing, choreography, directing, whatever, was the scene with William.
Yes.
I don't know if you're going to say that, Bill, but when so the Reaniman attacks Rick, William saves Rick by throwing cans at it, and then the Reaniman goes after William, and then there's a moment where Mark's standing there, close up on Amber. Amber says, "Mark," and then the music stops and she turns and he's gone. And then it cuts back to the Reaniman. He goes to punch, and then Invincible catches the fist.
Yeah.
And then it pans over, and then it's Invincible standing there. Mark drops down, looking up, like that whole thing.
Before you finish it, at this moment, I'm thinking in my head, here we go, same comic trope. Clark Kent disappears, and then Superman shows up, and then he comes back.
They handled it so well.
And nobody knows who he is, and it's insane to me. And then, like, when William looked up and was like, Mark? I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, nice. Yeah. Like, I mean, they still kind of did it with the whole Amber thing, but Amber wasn't close to Invincible. Yeah. Like, she didn't get, like, up close. But the fact that William knew immediately, perfect.
Yep. These moments hit really hard. And I did have it in my notes here where, so Rick is getting grabbed by this thing, and the Reaniman gets hit in the face with a can, and it's William, and he's got, like, a whole bunch of cans, and he's throwing cans at this thing. That point was, like, Liz was like, oh, my God, I have goosebumps everywhere. Like, it was just so good. And then the following scene with Mark, like you're talking about, and then Mark catches his fist, and then the Reaniman drops Rick, and then goes to throw another punch, and Mark catches his other fist, and then he's in this pose. William's down here
in between,
and he's looking up. It was shot, edited, like written perfectly.
The camera angle,
and then
the camera angle at how he was looking up.
And then,
it was so good.
They do this trick later too with catching the fist, and it's so good. That callback. Oh
yeah, yep. So they fight. It's really cool. Mark is having a difficult time. Like this Reaniman and these Reaniman are a fucking
cool choreography too, and up in the air, and the way he's fighting them in the air and flying around.
Yeah, very cool.
Keep in mind, I think that Invincible is still hurt here.
I knew you were going to, TJ, I knew you were going to say that, but there is not even an inkling that he is like, he's not holding his stomach. He's not like, oh, I can't, like, he's getting his ass handed to him by these fucking Reanimen.
I'm good with that, TJ. But whether he is or not, this is just what Invincible does. He just gets his ass kicked. But yes, I do like the headcanon that he's still not 100%. Yeah.
That's as stupid as people talking about like Kylo Ren when he's punching his stomach and he's punching his laser thing to make the dark energy. I just think that's stupid. Like, if that's what's going on, it's as easy as him going, oh, and holding his stomach, but that didn't happen.
I think Battle Beast is formidable enough he's just not going to heal like that.
Do you mean your boy Battle Beast?
I do like how the bruises on Mark slowly faded throughout this episode.
Yeah,
they did.
Yep, that was good too. So Mark is getting his ass handed to him, and he pulls off the faceplate that was covering Doug's face, and Doug is fucked up. He has no nose. He sees his reflection in a pool of water, and like goes ugly. Like that. Yeah. And then like peels his face off and he's like, oh fuck, I'm a monster.
No one's going to love me.
And he ends up throwing himself on this, what is it called? It's
like a sundial.
It's a sundial. Yeah, it's the sundial. Impales himself on it, kills himself, and Mark goes over to. So end fight. Mark goes over to William to make sure that he's okay, and he's like, "Holy shit! Holy shit! You're invincible. It makes so much sense."
He's like, "Oh, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense now. Holy shit! Holy shit!"
Yeah. It was really good.
Going back to the Rhiannon thing, though, that was actually like really sad.
Yeah.
Like I felt sad. I felt really bad for him. Like when he impaled himself like that. Like holy shit.
Yeah. So then Mark comes back with street clothes on. He's like, "Oh, I went to go get help," and then Amber very wisely says, "You're a piece of shit." Like she literally calls him a lying piece of shit. Yeah. As opposed to TJ,
and he tried to do the whole Clark Kent thing, like, "Oh, help is on the way. I ran and called 911," which is always what Clark Kent says. And then she's like, "No, you're a fucking liar,
dude." And she she starts crying, and then he starts, and you can see like the expression, the tone of his voice. He's like, "No, really, that's not what happened. I swear, like I didn't leave you. You can hear it. He just wants to tell her so bad."
Why wouldn't you? Wouldn't you if you cared about this person? Who the fuck cares? Like, I know I would, but I'm just impulsive. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'd tell everybody that I was a superhero. I wouldn't have a secret identity. That's for damn sure. So, so they fight. So the next scene, then in that same scene, D.A. Sinclair picks up the face helmet and is like, "Wow, you had a lapse in judgment. That's the last time that I leave a frontal lobe intact." Which comes into play.
And he looks
interestingly. I don't know how they're gonna.
He looks ahead at Rick.
Yep. Meaning that he's showing a lot of interest in Rick. So this is a scene that we get with Eve going around. So she puts out a forest fire and then regrows the trees, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. She helps what looks like in France, I'm assuming. People grow like a vineyard, pretty much. Like it shows a couple people struggling, like in a field growing a vineyard. She stops a landslide from killing a bunch of people. Just going around doing God's work.
Doing
TJ.
What she does,
doing it and doing it well. So the next scene we get is a robot. Well, what you think is robot beat the fuck up, like missing an arm, and he falls on the ground. And his hand opens up, and there's a flower in it. And
dude, that was so cool seeing him come in like missing an arm and all like.
That was awesome.
Did anybody think of Batman Begins?
Oh, just because the rare flower up in the
he's like beaten up and he's like trying to get up, and then opens up and there's a blue flower. I mean, it's the opening to Batman Begins.
I guess so. I thought at first, I was like, "Oh, robot got her a flower. That's cute." But the cool thing about this scene is that it's the first time that we get to see that robot isn't just a singular.
Yes, this is the first time that there's more than one.
He's like, "Oh, I sent a drone up to the Arctics to get this rare blue flower, and obviously it was well protected." And he talks about like how Monster Girl doesn't have a medical condition; it's a curse, and this blue flower has like this thing in it that will give her a 60% chance more. Or 6% chance of survival.
One thing though, going back again to the directing, and you guys saying that this is the first time that we see that there are two robots, like there are more than one robots. Mm-hmm. The directing and how it happened, like you see robot, the robot that we know, come in and he's all beaten up, and then he falls to the ground. And you're like, what the fuck? And all you see is robot's hand come up and pick up the flower, and he's like, oh, by the way,
yeah, awesome, so good. Really good. So then, again, another really great edit, and I don't know if like the director, it has to be like the change in director. Maybe he just like, I don't know, but like just the shots just flow because the next scene isn't a cut, but it's Black Samson, like kind of being awake and talking to Robot. And he's like, "Wow, you're just a machine. Why do you have so much compassion?" And then Robot says,
"I'm programmed to have emotions.
To have compassion for all humanity." And Black Samson laughs.
He's like, "Bullshit."
He's like, he's like, "That's bullshit. I didn't see you trying to go to the Arctic to save me. insinuating that Robot has specific feelings for Amanda.
And he asks if we won and everything like that. I screenshotted this image. I love this image of Robot in this scene.
Yeah.
It's just, it captures that creepy, unnerving, but just kind of almost gentle at the same time.
What's behind his eyes?
So good.
What's
good
there? Yeah, really, really good. And that scene, that clip that you just took, that's after Black Samson says bullshit. Like you don't have
that scene ends with that, and it just freezes on that for a minute, and then it changes.
Yep. Oh my God, guys, this next scene.
Dude, this episode is great. It's great.
The next scene is Debbie at Art's tailor shop with Omni-Man's costume laid out, and Art's kind of like, trying to
stall.
I mean, he says that he's like stalling. He doesn't want to look at it. So she asks him to, and they look at it, and he's like, I've seen these gold flecks before. And then she's like, it's from War Woman's costume. And then there's like sodium crystals from Aquarius. And then there's scorch burns from friction burns. So then Debbie's like, well, couldn't it be just like they fighting like all together? They all attacked him. And he's like, yes. He
covered it up because he's just trying to protect their legacy.
Yeah. And Art then does something really cool science that they made up, but I fucking loved it. Where he was like, this spectrum shows blood and how old it is, and the blood that is on his knuckles on the gloves is the oldest blood that's on his suit, meaning that he started this fight.
He says it definitively. He said that Art says it definitively. Nolan struck first.
Right, and Debbie's like, you can't tell anybody that this happened, and Art is saying this, and it pans back. So he's saying, are you kidding me? I'm too scared. I wouldn't say this to anybody. And it pans back, and Nolan is fucking flying right there watching.
Nolan is
the outside of the building.
Nolan is terrifying in this episode.
He is so ominous.
Because he's that like little demon in the background, like watching everything. And he knows exactly what you're doing. Even though you're trying to hide, he sees all of it.
No. Nolan does not have super hearing. He's not Superman. He doesn't have X-ray vision.
But he knows her car is there.
Yeah,
she's
he
there.
knows why
she has the costume.
She's got the costume.
Oh. Yes,
and he knows that Art can figure it out.
Yeah. He knows. That's the look on his face. Is like he's like, this is what's going on. Yep. They're there. They're looking at the suit. All that crazy stuff. So Amber, it shows back in college. Amber's fighting with Mark more. She's like, I'm going to go take a shower. I feel dirty.
I do love that like I feel gross. I'm going to take a shower. Yeah. It's just the way she did it was funny.
So the next scene, this is where Eve is saving people and stuff. So the scene after that is Robot and the Maulers. So you go to, it's a scene with the Maulers and the little tube growing part of a human, or we don't know. And they're talking about payment. They're like, how do we know we're going to get our payment now? And then Robot says, you will get
your schematics.
What does he say? Your schematics. You'll get the schematics when the job is done.
I did not catch that like the first couple times I watched this. And then I was like, wait, schematic? What does he say? Wait, he's paid. The payment is schematics for what?
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yep. Very interesting. So then the Maulers are like, well, do you trust him? And it's cool that like they have their doubts in Robot too. Like they're like, what the fuck is this guy about? Like, what are they cloning? They don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know who it is or why they're doing it.
When he said, grab a shovel. Oh my God. That was exciting.
Yeah.
Cause you know where that's going. That was cool.
We know where it's going. We know where it's going, but the casual watcher doesn't.
Yeah. Keep going. I'll be right back. You can keep going though.
All right. So the next scene is Mark. I'm surprised he wanted to go off camera with this.
He probably doesn't know where it's leading to, but
Mark and William are in the dorm, and William is like freaking out that he's invincible, and he's like, "Please take me flying right now." So Mark.
Wait, hold on. Something before that I thought was really funny of William. He's like, take me flying, and he's like, no, like I like stop. Like he's like, honestly, I don't even know if I want to be a superhero anymore. And William goes, shut your mouth. Like being a superhero was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And then Go ahead.
So he's like, so take me flying. So then Mark grabs him and flies out the window really quick, and the camera stays panned on the couch, but you hear William being like, yeah, woohoo, like flying around. And then they zip back really quick. He's like, there, are you happy?
I like that he was satisfied with it too, even though it was like a few seconds. Like he was like, I love that he was satisfied with it.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
And the clincher, the end of the scene is William being like, can I try your suit on? Like, let me try your suit on.
He's like, no.
Yeah,
I loved that. How fast, and you just hear him in the background yelling.
Dude, yeah, like gleefully yelling. It's so funny. So Amber's walking out of the shower, and she runs into Kyle, another college student that invites her to go out to a party. Well, he hands her a flyer, and she's like, "Oh, maybe I should go."
Did she turn into Kermit the Frog?
Yeah, she did.
It's funny because I thought Raymond. So it sounds the same.
Your boy Kermit the Frog.
Your boy
shows up.
Kermit the Frog here.
William and Rick are FaceTiming, and this was so funny, guys. It's so funny. It's not your normal animated show. Like William and Rick are on the phone FaceTiming, and Rick is like, well, how are the lovebirds doing? And then William flips the camera around and just shows Mark like head down.
Again, the directing though, because he doesn't just turn the phone around.
The hand just comes out.
You just see the hand through the doorway. You don't see William at all. You just see the phone.
Yeah,
and he's
just
like,
the phone, just the hand come out of the door. It's so fucking funny. And he's like, oh man, well maybe when I get back we'll make things better. I'll stop and get some drinks and some pizza. And then the phone just kind of goes and disappears, and now, I mean, you know what happened. Like you obviously know that,
and like went snowy for a second.
Yep. So William comes in, is like, oh my God, something happened to Rick. And then Mark's like, Amber went to this party. Should I have gone after her? So then William is trying to convince Mark to go and find Rick because he knows that something's up. And Mark says, you don't want my help. Anytime that I try to help somebody, someone ends up getting hurt. So William goes to find Rick, and Mark goes to the party. And that's where we leave off. Mm-hmm. Another scene in the hospital, you get Black Samson looking very like civilian. Like he's got like a sweater on. Like he looks
it's the first time we've seen him in his like street clothes.
Yeah. And he's talking to Robot about how he's feeling much better, like almost better than before he lost his powers. And then Monster Girl, he's in there with Monster Girl, and he fixed her headband, and she jerks awake. And she's like, oh, did we win? And he has a funny moment. He's like, everybody keeps asking that. And yes, we did. And Monster Girl feels bad that like she got her ass handed to her and she almost died. So it was a nice little.
She was surprised too. She was like, you stayed with me this whole time?
Yeah.
He's like, I never left your side.
And again, I'm sure it was a close up of his face looking all freaking weird and robot-y. Oh God. Oh God, the scene.
Which one is this?
So we get Art closing up shop. Oh
God.
And he's leaving, and he locks the door, and you see fucking Nolan standing behind him with like a scary face on, and I was like, oh fuck, well, what's gonna happen here? And then Nolan holds up a 6-pack of beer, and he's just like, stop being so evil. Like, what are you doing here?
It's so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable. They did such a good job, man. So they're sitting. So like it cuts between this and the party, but we could just go through this scene in its entirety, right? They're sitting up on top of the bridge or something, having a beer, and they're like reminiscing, talking about some funny stories, and it's like, oh, you know, that's why you never piss off your tailor, and Nolan has this line where he's like. It's just amazing how fast things can change. Suddenly, you know, everything's great, and then all of a sudden it's gone, and it falls apart.
It falls apart and it's gone.
And then but he says something like it's gone or whatever, and then it shows Art, and he in that moment he realizes there's nothing left in his beer, so it's like it's gone, and
Nolan's looking at him again,
and he goes to hand him one, and there's that moment where they. Yeah. And then like slowly release. Like it's all so tense.
What are the chances that he would just randomly show up with a pack of beers?
But
Nolan says.
Hold on. This was, in my opinion, very clearly a message to Art, like, hey, we're still friends, but if you know something, don't fucking say anything or I'll fucking murder you.
Yeah.
Nolan straight up says, like, you know, Art's like, so what's the occasion? And then Nolan says he just wanted to pass by and make sure that their partnership was still good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, very, very like, you good, TJ? You just punched yourself in the face with your mug?
No, I almost dropped it.
Really uncomfortable scene, and you just feel so bad for Art, and Nolan is just really manipulative in this moment, and it's great. It's just
he's very like, oh my gosh, in terms of the comic book difference to like the show, Nolan is very, very, Ryan, you nailed that you nailed it on the head with he's manipulative. Like he's very.
So I want to talk later comic spoilers and looking back, I want to talk about what these scenes are going to feel like, you know, several years down the road when we look back at them, but we're not going to talk about them here. But I do find myself thinking about that too, like what's going on in his mind on another level. And we'll talk more about that. Maybe
like if he's fighting with himself, you mean?
Yeah,
kind of
I mean that's kind of clearly like what's happening in this, and we're gonna see that more this episode. Like, and we've talked about it this season already. And what he's saying to Art, like things are changing faster than he expected, and he's not ready. He's not ready for this, and so part of me feels like, yes, he is being manipulative to Art, and he is saying like, you know, we're good, right? But also, like, he's trying to maybe hold on to those moments a little bit longer before what has to happen. And
he unfortunately does not get that anymore, which is
TJ, you were making some faces.
No, I want to be careful because some of the things that you guys are alluding to are past what we said spoilers are, and we're basically. But like I said, I'm just basing it off of things
we've already said.
I'm just saying, like, just be careful.
So we're at the party. By the way, so William sees, like, in that scene, it goes back and forth. William sees his phone. He sees the sewer. He goes down, and it's you see a Rhiannon, like, the light of their head coming and sneaking up behind William. So then you get Mark at the party, and he sees Amber with Kyle on the balcony. Yes, Ryan?
There's been a couple moments throughout this entire episode where they walk past a billboard and you see missing posters.
Missing people.
And it grows. Like they add another as it goes on, and those are all the people missing.
Yeah, Doug was the first one, and then there was, I think there were like two or three other. Yep. So Mark sees Kyle there, and he gets a FaceTime message from William, and he's obviously in distress. So he could not go and like go up to Amber and confront her and stop this Kyle guy from hitting on her, because they kind of had a moment. Like,
yeah. So Amber, what do you think about this?
So Kyle was like, this Kyle is just much more than just a party scene. Like, there's really good curriculum and stuff like that. And then Amber's looking at him in a very flirtatious way, which made me really fucking mad. But I can't really blame her. But he said, she was like, you're kind of nerdy for a. What did he say? What did she say? A frat guy. Yeah. And it was like very flirty and kind of like she was coming on to him. And Kyle had mentioned something about how his girlfriend says the same thing and how he misses her. She's coming up. And then he's like, do you have anybody? And she's like, I did. And inferring that she doesn't anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Like really, I said, I feel like that fight of Mark running away when the reanimate attacked was strike 3 for her. And in her mind, she's done. That was the last shot he had.
100%.
So,
and she's not wrong. Like,
I know
she's not fucking wrong. I would have done the same thing or felt the same way, but I feel like accidents were made, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So Mark flies down. He sees the hole. He goes down. He's in the sewer. He's flying around, and 3 Enemin attack him. They pull him into the water.
This was a great layout or whatever you want to call it, where he sees one running at him, and then us as the viewer sees the one coming at him behind him. But before either of them get to him, there's another third one underneath that pulls him in,
and you just see Invincible drop.
Yeah, that was
drop
really cool.
into the water, and all 3 Enemin.
And also a callback to the comic where the 3 of them are fighting him.
Yeah. So they okay, so they end up in the room where William is with D.A. Sinclair, and they're fighting, and
William is strapped to
he's strapped to a gurney, and Mark pulls off the faceplate, and you see that it's Rick, and William's like, oh my God, Rick, and he tries like talking to him and saying, stop this, you gotta stop doing this. Remember the moment we had last summer. We had sex.
Well, D.A. Sinclair says,
it's not going to happen.
You're wasting your time. I already took out all of his emotions, and it shows half of his brain sitting on the table.
Yeah, which is the part that I'm like, can you replace that? Like, can you put that back in someone's head? I don't know. Seemed a little weird. Anyways, really cool insight to William and Rick's past. So they're like, we had sex under the stars by the lake. It changed my life. I know it changed your life.
It was the best day of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like that's probably where William like discovered his sexuality and Rick as well. That's really kind of like how I took it.
I really like that they just made it that they already knew each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just that saves so much time. Like, and it makes more sense for the way this all plays out. Like, so smart. I loved that.
Yeah. Yeah, the pacing and the way the stories kind of like interlock worked really, really well. So, D.A. Sinclair starts to cut into William's arm with like a bone saw.
Of all the disturbing blood and gore this entire show, this one hit me the hardest. For some reason. I mean, action scenes and you see like a fist go through someone's stomach or like their head chopped off or whatever. But when it's just a normal guy and a power tool that's put up against someone who doesn't have superpowers and there's blood splattering, that was way worse to me.
And I feel like the show is going to do certain things as it's already done and surprise us. And I fully believe, I was like, they're going to fucking take William's arm off or something crazy like that. Like they're going to do something nuts. So I was actually scared. And to your point, Ryan, it's like what I was saying earlier, how animated gore doesn't really hit as hard, but this did. Yeah. Like it really fucking did. William's strapped to a chair, no powers.
It definitely scared me. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It was really good. But that's the moment that Rick kind of
came to
is cognizant and he starts to cry. Mm-hmm. And D.A. Sinclair's like, are you fucking crying? He's like, this is impossible. So then Rick reaches behind his head and pulls out this.
D.A.'s like, don't do that, it'll ruin you.
Yeah, it'll ruin you. And he pulls out this thing, whatever is controlling him. So then Mark and Rick end up defeating the other two Reanimen by pulling out those things from the back of her head. It was really gross when Mark grabbed onto the helmet from the one and was sliding it off, and there was like blood going like. It like seemed very. I don't know, man. It was like it felt real, like if you were sliding off a bloody helmet, and it just I don't know, man. It seemed really gross. So William gets unstrapped, and DA is running, and then William's like, "Oh no, you don't, you piece of shit!" And he gets him to the ground and is like wailing on his fucking face.
Dude, William got in there.
That was awesome. I loved it.
Which is cool because you can't really have, Rick or Invincible take him down because he's still human. Have a human take him down.
Well, he took him down. I mean, it gave William more of a heroic presence as it did when he was trying to save Rick with the pop cans and stuff like that, So D.A. Sinclair is like, he gets up and he's like, you don't understand, like trying to make humanity better and blah, 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 blah. And he turns around and Mark is standing right there, and Mark backhands him and busts his fucking jaw up. Something fierce.
Like we see in the comic.
Yeah, like you see in the comic. So the next scene is Cecil there with like the Global Defense Agencies, patching Mark up. They're taking the Reanimen away, and Cecil is talking to Mark, and Mark's like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize like how hard I hit him, and he's like, it's okay. Cecil's like, it's okay, I would have done the same thing. So then Mark says, what are you gonna do with him? And Cecil responds by saying, probably that, the same old lock him up and throw away the key kind of thing. He's like, it's a shame too, because this tech is really impressive. Even the fact that it's just being built in a sewer, you know?
Mark's like, you mean sick?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty, once again, you know, you get a little
he says
inside to...
he asks how if they're going to be able to help Rick, and he says they'll do what they can.
Yeah, so then William...
That's what I was going to allude to, like you said, like, could they put his brain back in? I think Cecil's team can do it.
I think Cecil, they're going to do what they can. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you can't, the chunk of brain is just sitting there in the open air, like on a fucking table. You know what I mean? It's not
I
like
think he's
in a jar.
I think, I mean, obviously he's never going to look the same, but I think he gets back to normal. Just my opinion, my prediction.
We'll see. So the next scene is back at the room. Amber or Mark and William they hug and because obviously William's distraught.
Actually meant something to me though. Yeah. Like that, like when he started crying in his arms, like they weren't just like hugging, like he had his like William had his face buried in Mark's chest. Like it was like a very meaningful moment. I really liked that.
So we've talked before on this podcast. I definitely have brought up how much. Like, and I know TJ, you definitely agree how much we really love when music is used in shows like this, or you know, this scene with this song. It's Mark and William, then Eve, then Nolan. It is my favorite moment of this entire episode, and might be one of my favorite moments of the entire series. I got goosebumps. The music is handled so well. From you get William crying on Mark's shoulder and like seeing it from outside the window, Eve flying and then like landing on her bed, Mark, like smiling, like because she feels fulfilled. Oh my, you know,
Mark opening up Amber's bedroom door and seeing that she's sleeping, but then the camera pans back and she's actually has her eyes open.
The song,
dude. Okay, can I read some of the lyrics?
It's the one part is I fucked up,
dude. It's Jax Anderson and it's called Chapter 6, Many Mistakes. So here's some of the lyrics. Late night thinking about many mistakes. I never meant to hurt you. Late night problems come and I can't escape. I never meant to change you. I wish I could fix this. I wish it was easy. I wish you could love me. I wish I could heal you. I wish that all the hard times would disappear. I wish I took the time to see how you'd feel. I wish I could find a way out of this mess that I've made. And then, it says that chorus part again. And then it says, it's my fault. I was wrong. You believed in the good, but I fucked up. And then it's Nolan standing there. And I thought the episode could have just gone to black right there. But then he opens the door. And, dude, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this scene.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, wait. I want to go back. So, the lyrics say I fucked up a couple times. And it says specifically, I think it says I fucked up when it's on Amber's face.
No, it's on Nolan.
Are you sure?
No, it only says I fucked up one time.
Yeah, it only says it one time.
It says I never meant to hurt you.
Okay.
It keeps saying late night thinking about many mistakes. I never meant to hurt you. Late night problems come.
When I was watching it, I got the vibe that Amber cheated on Mark.
Regretted it?
That she did something.
No.
And
with that Kyle guy.
I'll tell you why I don't think that is because I was expecting this Kyle guy, this frat guy that invited her to a party, to be that typical guy to hit on her at the party. But then when they were talking at the party, she's like, wow, you're really kind of nerdy. And he's like, yeah, that's what my girlfriend always says. I'm so in love with her. I miss her so much. She's joining the college next year.
Yeah, I don't think that's misdirection. I think that's misdirection. I think it's supposed to.
No, I think it's just showing that their relationship has ended. Like it's a sad moment of Mark looking in on her. She knows, like, she's awake. Like, it's just
Yeah. So guys, we go to the Grayson home and Debbie is there sitting and drinking wine and she doesn't even give Nolan
again the shot of the glass going up, going down, filling up, and then going up, and him being there.
Yeah. So Debbie confronts Nolan right away. She's like, why did you do it? And she lists their names and she's like, you killed them. And he's like, you're drunk. We'll talk about this tomorrow. She chucks the bottle at him and he catches it and she just walks up to him and says, fuck you, Nolan. Oh my fucking God. And goes up. Go ahead, Ryan.
No, yeah. She goes up the stairs. He without showing it, he punches the wall. And then it shows the wall, the hole in the wall, and then him sitting down with putting his head in his lap. Until this scene, I'm sorry, someone wrote in. Was it Luke? I don't remember. Sorry, one of the emails that I had read said that they weren't sure how they felt about the Nolan Debbie thing and Debbie being onto it because how is it going to feel with the end? Done. I don't care anymore. This episode, this ending made it all worth it for me. This was so good. This made it. I prefer this now. I would rather this because this is. I don't know, man.
It's just it's more depth. It's more like Nolan lied to her. She was able to, the fact that it took so much time and he's still like, and he even accused her of being, oh my God, how low are you, dude? Like she fucking caught you and you're like, you're drunk. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Fuck you,
and
Nolan.
this is devastating her just like it will in the comics, but she is angry. She's mad at him. Like, why would you do this? And it's more of that. It's going to be less shocking. Oh my God, I could have never imagined. It's just more.
I guess it's nice that we do get both, but I do prefer the comic. And I agree with whoever wrote in, whoever it was that said it too. Like, I still kind of miss seeing that. Like, holy shit, I had no fucking idea. I was so in love with him, and she's just like, she's like mad. So when it happens, she's gonna be like, it's still, like you said, Ryan, like it's still gonna hurt, but it's like she's already mad.
TJ, it's still gonna happen. It's still gonna happen.
Like, not only do I think that
Bill,
they're going to.
It has happened. She's already drinking, Bill, just like the comic.
Yes, I know. I understand that, but she's mad because he did what he did and he lied to her about it. But when
imagine
the next
what
thing,
yeah.
But when the next thing happens, it's going to be another fucking layer.
That's even more.
If he says verbatim what he says in the comic book,
but not even that, but the things he does.
She hears it and she says, "Dude,"
but not even that.
Fucking hit.
Ryan, it's and Bill, it's happened. What gets worse for her? She already knows.
I know what will. It's the destruction and what happens to her son, and like that is a whole nother level.
She doesn't know why.
Of Nolan?
Yes.
And her relationship with him?
Yes.
TJ, oh my God.
I think the hit has already happened. And I feel like you guys are like expecting, like, ooh, there's still like, the hit hasn't happened yet. No, it fucking happened. It hit.
No.
She knows.
This isn't about a one punch kind of thing. This is like a growing dread. This is
exactly. Bill, you just said it. You said it perfectly.
But it hasn't happened.
Not about,
it's still happening, comic, TJ. It's still happening.
Bill, the comic is a one punch. It's a gut punch right to and it hits hard and it hits once. This is kind of more of a slow burn. Like it keeps coming up and she's like, I suspect it. Oh shit, you really did do it. And then everything that's going to happen and what we expect to be the finale. It's more of a slow burn. So it's like, you know what I mean? But in my opinion, I prefer the one gut punch where it's like, fuck, I had no idea. And now I'm distraught.
Yeah. But Debbie wasn't even able to have this kind of reaction and conversation with Nolan. Like it was all well and good in the comic book. I'm saying it was all well and good.
I like better that she didn't get that opportunity.
And then she never got.
Says in the comic, I never got an opportunity.
But this is that opportunity, and I think that it plays really well. Like, do you not like it, DJ? Did you not like?
No, like I said, I'm glad that we got both sides of it, but I prefer the comic. Do you hate the comic?
No, not at all.
Of course not. It doesn't mean you have to like one and hate the other. I like them both.
Yeah.
But I prefer the comic.
Yeah.
I think that I understand the one punch hit and the surprise and like the it's like watching somebody die in a car accident and watching and experiencing someone die from cancer. Like it's those two things. Like that person died instantly and the shock of it, you don't have like the sadness and the dread and stuff like that, and experiencing someone with cancer, it's like it's drawn out. There's a lot more sadness.
The thing we got to remember is Mark is going to be the one punch for us. You know what I mean? We're going to get that reaction from him. I agree with you, TJ. I like that we can get both because I do like both for their own reasons. What I was saying though was that I wasn't sold on this version until now. That's all.
Me neither.
Again, that's both versions. It's okay, and I'm not comparing without comparing them. As far as this version and her finding out, I still wasn't quite sure. Like the email that we had gotten, I still wasn't quite sure, or how that was going to be a better or an alternative, I should say, to what we got in the comic. And I'm really happy with this version. I think this is really, really cool.
Not even comparing it to the comic, just comparing it to itself. Like, I always said, like, I was worried about the pacing. Like, how long can a character really be suspicious without confronting? And Debbie just, like, she took it. Like, there wasn't even like a, hey, so I found your costume, like, and I went to art. She was just like, you fucking did it, like, and that was it.
Oh, yeah.
And that was it. And then she didn't even give him the time of day. He called her a drunk, and she was like, fuck you, and left. Like
just went upstairs. And now he's sitting down there.
Didn't even give him the ability to explain himself because she was disrespected so badly.
One thing about this too is like, okay, so a couple things. Next episode is the penultimate. Mm-hmm. Next episode is episode 7, mm-hmm. And I think it's going to start with.
So are we?
Why are mom and dad fighting?
I just wanted to give another spoiler warning. So we don't know how the show is going to do this. All we're going to be doing is talking about how it happens in the comics and making comparisons. Mm-hmm. So again, if you want absolutely nothing, tune out now. We're going to be comparing, what happened in the comics to what might happen next in the show.
One more thing in the recap of the episode. So we get Matt.
Oh, geez, you're right.
And a friend digging up a grave, and Matt's like, "Yo, my father-in-law or my stepdad is
Justin Roiland
could lose his job at Washington." And he's like, "Oh, shut up." He's like, "Do you got the what liquor it was?" But yeah, schnapps, and he's like, "All we got to do is drink from Immortal Skull and we'll get his powers." And he's like, "Are you here?" And he's like, "Yeah, I read it on Reddit." And then the Maulers are there as well, and they're like, "Don't believe everything that you read." Right? Is that what you said?
Online, kids.
Don't read anything that you read on the internet. And the Maulers are there. And I wonder why. Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen. We know, but that's how it ends.
Cool callback to Matt.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool. Episode 7 is coming.
Predictions or favorite scene for me was that ending. I mean, that
Debbie saying "fuck you" to Nolan was the greatest moment that I've seen, probably in the show so far. Like it like from an emotional hit. Like I was like, yeah, fuck you, Nolan. Best scene, best moment. Love Debbie. TJ, favorite scene?
I agree. That scene was the best in the episode.
Oh.
Like I said, Bill, like I prefer the comic, but both. I still I do like that. Like that scene was fucking nuts, and I love Debbie in the animated series. Like we talk all the time about how, like, in my opinion, other than obviously Rexplode, because I think that they have done him perfectly, from what I want as a Rexplode fan. Other than him, who would have fucking guessed that Amber would be my favorite character of the animated series? She's fucking amazing, and I didn't even like her in the comic.
Yeah,
she's
we talked
awesome
about that a lot.
Series. Like how they change people, and they did that with Debbie too. Like Debbie is so much. I love Debbie in the comics, and they just improved on her. Like, yeah, I do love that scene. I'm just saying I just prefer the comics, but yeah, that scene was the best of this episode for sure.
That's the thing that's great, is that they're not changing these characters for the sake of changing them into completely different people. They're fleshing them out more in a better way. Like the things that you liked about Debbie, you're gonna love animated Debbie, because it's more of that in a way that makes more sense. And same thing with Amber. Like, I didn't really like Amber. I didn't not like Amber in the comic, but I just thought she was a throwaway character, and I think that she's fucking vital in the show, which is great, which is absolutely great. And the same thing goes for Battle Beast. Like, they just made him, a better version of.
So we're gonna wrap it up pretty soon, but some quick predictions for episode 7. Like you guys are saying, penultimate episode.
I think episode 7 is going to start, like I said, with Mark not understanding why his mom and dad are fighting, and he's gonna be like, "This is weird." Like,
do you think Nolan's like missing or something?
No, I think they're going to be. I think she's going to come downstairs and she's just not going to talk to him. And Mark's going to see her like storm out of the house without saying anything to Nolan, and he's going to be like, "What was that about?" And not really. They're not going to dig into that though. They're not going to like he's not going to pry or anything like that. And then that's going to become even more of a shock to him. Like when everything hits, she's going to be like, "So mom fucking knew." Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? I think it's going to come to that. I will also say that that episode 7 is going to end with Nolan clenching his fist.
Yeah.
They won't fight in episode 7. They'll fight in episode 8. I think that a lot of it will be Mauler stuff, robot story, immortal story. A lot of immortal. I think you're going to get way more immortal than
that'd be cool.
You got in the comic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And TJ, to your point, I don't think that Debbie would do that. That is uncharacteristic of this Debbie. Debbie, who has been very boisterous in a good way. I think that she is going to, if she talks to Mark before any kind of confrontation, she is going to come downstairs or whatever it is, and she's going to be like, Nolan, you need to fucking tell Mark what you did. Like, tell him. I'm not going to tell him. You have to. Like, that's the kind of Debbie that we have in the show. She's not going to just leave her son in a fucking house with Nolan when she thinks he's a fucking monster.
I agree with what you're saying, Bill, about the whole you need to tell Mark. But I think that there's still going to be something while Mark is around where he's going to be able to pick up on like something's off with mom and dad.
I think we're going to get that confrontation, and then it's going to be interrupted by Immortal, and they're not going to really get a chance, and then it's going to be Nolan telling them, and then it's going to be the fight in 8. Ryan, what do you think? You had your hand up.
I think it's crazy to think that Nolan and Debbie are going to talk more, especially in the house. Like, I don't think that he's going to be there in the morning. I think that it's going to be a looming dread of shit. Where is he? He's out there somewhere. What's going to happen next? Debbie might try and get in touch with Mark, except Mark's phone just got smashed and fell into the sewer in this episode.
Oh, fuck. Loaded gun.
So
Ryan.
Mark is not going to be able to find out. Something's going to happen. Mark is away for the weekend.
Debbie's sleeping in the house with Nolan. Though,
I think that, no, Debbie is going to wake up. Nolan is going to be gone. Debbie's going to call and try and get in touch with Mark. Mark is not going to be
why would she wait till the morning to be like, oh shit, he's not here. I got to get a hold of Mark now rather than like last night?
I don't know. Maybe that happened at like 2 a.m. She wasn't going to call him at 2 a.m. and tell him that.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
Father was a murderer?
I don't know. Why would Nolan just sleep in the same bed as Debbie and they wake up and make coffee? Why do you guys think they're going to be there in the morning talking?
No.
Have your parents ever fought before? I mean, like,
not over murder.
This is not a normal fight. So what I'm saying is I don't think Debbie and Nolan are going to really talk again. Again, these are all theories.
I agree with that, but I think that Debbie is going to like come downstairs and like storm out of the house or something like that. It's going to be. You don't think that Debbie and Nolan see each other at all this next episode?
I wouldn't be surprised, no, because I like the idea of Nolan missing. We think that, we know he's going to get his costume back on somehow, somewhere. And then something's going to happen with, I agree with you, Bill. I think the robot stuff is going to move a lot of next episode. I think there's going to be a moment where, Immortal happens, and then Mark gets sent over to there, and Mark's like, what is going on? He hasn't heard from mom. Where is mom? What did you do? Why is this happening right now? And
I'd be fine with that.
And that's going to be,
I just think there's going to be something where he knows that something's up.
I don't think so, and I don't want that.
But you just said that. Where's mom? What's going on? What's happening?
That moment, I want him to be. Yeah.
It's gonna be quick. Like,
yeah,
all that's gonna happen in like one scene.
Yeah.
I'm home. Mom, why are you mad?
Oh, I don't think Mark's going home.
Nolan's like, oh, I have to tell you something, and then attack by Immortal, and then what the fuck happened? Yeah. It could happen that quick. All that stuff could happen really quick because that would really disorientate.
And then we know Mark, and then we know what episode 8 is going to be. So crazy, man. We're already here. I am excited that we don't know anything about next episode. I mean, we're assuming we know how it ends, but we don't know like what's the main like thing that happens in that. What's the meat of that episode? We know what the last 10 minutes are or whatever.
I have an idea. They have to dig into Damien. They have to go back to Damien Darkblood this episode, and this would be the perfect episode to do it.
That'd be interesting.
Do they though? Because we just kind of gave an outline, and it didn't have Damien in there at all.
But what we say, we don't know what's in the middle. Like maybe
we said that
maybe Cecil.
We laid out an outline of like the first 5 minutes and the last like 2 minutes.
We have to have more of Cecil figuring out what to do about this.
I thought. I mean, Cecil didn't.
The dragon that he captured.
Oh yeah.
The blood.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about the blood because that wasn't in the comic.
Yeah.
There is a part in one of the trailers too that shows a monster with all the tentacles like opening its mouth.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff
the
that we
only
didn't
thing
see.
I know that I wish I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's going to be next episode. So,
yeah, it's definitely not the last one.
Well, yeah, but yeah,
But who knows?
That pairs nicely
be.
with how it happens in the comic too. All right, so let us know what you think. The 6th episode is live right now. Watch it. Let us know. Send in your emails to theinvinciblepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. We're at theinvinciblepodcast.com if you want to check out the website. Thank you all for watching or listening or both. Our music is done by Wyatt Layne. Check his music out over on Soundcloud, Spotify, Apple Music, all that good stuff. And Twitter, @Wyatt Layne. Thank you guys for hanging out. We have to talk about a couple theories that I have that I don't want to spoil on here right now. So, bye everybody.
Bye. Plug your ears.
Bye.
I don't know why I did that. We said bye and I just hit hang up. Like, why?